Hey, this is Shiraz just giving you a heads up that when energy shifts, I yawn and I cough. So you're going to hear that in the video. And just giving you the heads up, I'm not sick. I'm not tired. That's just how it goes. So here we go. Enjoy.
It's my first time that I'm acquainted to your work,
Okay.
and I was captivated by what you said to the previous attendees. I actually am not aware to my limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
Like the subconscious runs, of course, it runs the show. I start from the facts. I was diagnosed with arthritis,
Mhm.
debilitating one, and I was a dancer before and a yoga teacher, and the emotional pain is by far stronger and bigger than the physical pain, and I'm trying to, I'm a doer, so I've done almost everything in the physical plane, like supplements, doctors, osteopaths, physiotherapists, and there is no substantial progress. So I started to delve into the patterns of my thinking, what created the toxicity in the body that
Mhm.
led to the, of course, I have an issue of control and safety. This is something that I could identify. And I can say that I'm ready to give up control and safety, but if I'm honest with myself, it is so ingrained. This, like, safety is a core value to me,
Okay.
almost. So how can I ever give up safety?
Change your core values.
Sorry?
Change
Pardon?
your core values. So you've decided that the core values are necessary for you to be in this world, for you to exist. That's who you decided you are. But in order to get different results, you have to become someone different. You have to change your core values to change who you are. And there's, hi, can I finish the call, please? Sorry, my dog is wanting attention now. And when you realize, well, what if I just picked a different core value, right? Instead of safety, what if I picked awareness? How different would my life end up in that core value? But you're the one that is deciding this is core, this is necessary, it's wrong to change it. That's all a decision on your part. So my question to you is, what would life be like without the arthritis?
Wow, freedom, joy.
Okay, neither of those came up true.
Sorry?
Neither of those answers came up true.
They are not true?
They're not true to your subconscious mind, no. So when did the arthritis develop? What was going on in your life?
I lost my husband 2 years ago, and in order not to delve into the grief and the sorrow, like I thought, if I would cry, I would cry a river. So I suppressed the sorrow and um, drowned myself into somatic work, like I did a lot of soma work, and which was my salvation.
But
But
have you
when,
actually dealt with that grief?
sorry,
Have you dealt with the grief and the sorrow?
no, not.
You need to deal with that. You need to release that. If you have to cry a river, you need to cry a river and then finish crying so you can come back to happiness. That when you suppress emotions, it's not like they just go away. They're stored energetically in your body and they stagnate and cause things to go wrong in your body. And until you're willing to release those emotions, you will just get worse.
I don't know how. Like it's like for me to process emotion is like to wallow in the sorrow. This it's like
What if you could process it without wallowing it? So again, it's all the stories that you create. So if your story is, if I process an emotion, I have to wallow in it, that's what you're going to do every time. So are you willing to step out of the story that when you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
The story is that I don't want to face emotions. I don't want to see them. I don't want them in my life, like the negative emotion and the positive emotions too.
But they're all part of your life. And when you have an emotion and you let it out, you process that emotion, then it goes away. It transmutes into love and joy once you're done with it. If you don't process it, it just causes crap in your life. So you're avoiding all this because you don't want to go through the emotions, but the emotions are the healthy route to get you back to health. Right? And you've compounded it by saying, well, when I do process an emotion, I wallow in it. You may have done that on occasion, but you don't have to do it all the time. But you've decided, no, that's my story now. That gives me another reason not to have to face the emotions, because now I've made it worse. So I can justify not looking at my emotions. And so you're just adding these layers to it. Whereas if you start stripping away the layers, let the emotions out, then you can come to a happy place again. So are you willing to step out of the story that if you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
I think that, as I told you, the story is not this. The story is that emotions are dangerous.
Yeah.
So
And we can get to that, but we have to get out of the wallowing part first. That's another story that's there that we need to remove. Then we'll go to the dangerous part. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that when you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
I don't know how to do it.
Just when you say yes and mean it.
Yes.
Okay. And, okay. And who taught you that emotions are dangerous?
Life.
Life taught you that. How did life teach you that emotions are dangerous?
Because when I was in a young age, I lost my mother to cancer, and in order to continue with life, like to go forward, the best strategy that I found was to uh, to almost ignore the like I made a reduction. I said everyone dies. It's better that she like I made rationalization. I learned that staying above the neck is the safest place and that I can function like this.
Okay. And how old were you?
17.
Okay. But you're older and wiser and have much more experience now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to dealing with emotions, are you still behaving as though you're 17?
Sure.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
So what if you stop doing that? Because a 17-year-old has only learned so much on how to deal with emotions. You've learned a lot more. And if you keep reacting as a 17-year-old, you're going to get the exact same results as a 17-year-old. You're going to come to the same conclusions. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to keep dealing with emotions as a 17-year-old?
I immediately jump to the question, how do I do this? It's emotions is not me. I am so shunned from emotion. I refrain from emotion. So
Yeah. But again, you're doing that from 17-year-old you who didn't have enough experience to really handle those emotions.
that's
Right?
why.
Now you've accumulated a lot more wisdom, a lot more experience, so you can handle those emotions in a different way. You can get through it. 17-year-old you can't do that, and you're still trying to do things according to 17-year-old you. So when you're willing to step out of this story, things will shift. right? The emotions may come up and then you have to deal with them, but you can deal with them in a better way, in a way you can deal that you can handle, and then let those emotions go. But right now you've decided, just don't deal with the emotions. Don't deal with any emotions. That's the only way I can get through it. And that's a story on your part. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to handle all these emotions as if you were 17?
Yes. Like, I think that the inner belief is that if I will be ready to face emotion, to sit with emotion, it will kill me. I will drown.
Okay. And again, that's a story you've created that keeps you stuck and doesn't let you deal with the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to step out of the story that dealing with emotions will kill you?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that the best way to deal with trauma and adversity is to ignore all the emotions?
To ignore emotions?
Are you willing to destroy the belief that that's the best way?
Yeah, this is exactly how I think.
Yep.
Not to ignore, but to bypass them and stay with the rational sphere. What what
Yeah,
is needed to be done.
but you can
I,
still
I feel
you
like
can still go through emotions and come back to rationality. See,
okay.
when you truly understand that you are just the source energy, you are just a perception looking through your body to experience the world, then whatever emotions you go through as that person doesn't affect you spiritually. You can just watch the emotions process, and it's not you. It's not really you. It's just this body you've created. And when you really understand that, you can get to a place, and I've done this several times now, where you're having an intense emotion, but at the same time, you're watching yourself have that intense emotion. So the physical you is sad or angry or whatever, but at the same time, there's this duality of like, wow, look at me, look how sad I am in this moment. And that keeps you in that rational space. And then you just watch the emotion process, even though you're fully feeling it. It doesn't diminish the feeling, you fully feel it, but you're also observing it. And then the emotion dissipates and you get back to a place of happiness and joy. And this is possible for every person. You just have to allow it to happen.
You know, Shiraz, that when the genie is out of the bottle,
Yep.
when I'm starting to panic, I can't detach myself. Like my whole identity is around the well-being of the body.
Yep. But when the
It,
genie's out of the bottle, you get to make wishes and get whatever you want. So are you willing to destroy the belief that if you let the genie out of the bottle, only bad things will happen?
what I meant by the genie out of the bottle is that when starts, for example, the emotion
Yep. Oh,
of
I know exactly what you meant. I'm turning it around on you.
ah,
so
mhm.
so this is your story that when you start the emotional thing, you just can't get out of it. It's just going to get
I'm fused with it. Like when you talked about the observer that is looking at the human being,
okay.
so
But again, you're not fused with it. You're deciding to be fused with it. 17-year-old you was fused with it. That's all she could do. You don't have to be fused with it. You right now you are arguing with me to create limitation and sadness in your life. rather than saying, you know what, let's just shift it so I can be happy and get through this once and for all. You are arguing with me to create a worse life for yourself. Think about that.
Are you sure that if I will process emotions and that I will heal?
When you are creating restriction in your life, you create bad things, right? Emotions are very important. I've seen people that have suppressed emotions that have created hernias for themselves, that have created colon cancer for themselves. That, arthritis is another way to do it. Arthritis, though, it feels like you are very angry with yourself or someone, and you're not willing to process that.
No, anger is not my main emotion. Fear is my main emotion. Fear and sorrow. I rarely am angry on people.
Okay.
I forgive. I don't forget, but I don't hold grudges. Never. I move.
Again, that's not coming up as true. So do you have to suppress all your emotions?
Do I have to suppress?
Yeah, all your emotions, yes.
No.
Okay, so that's not coming up true either. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to suppress all your emotions?
Yes. Shiraz, are you sure that when someone is willing to give up the patterns for which he sees the world, that there will be more flow and less restriction, and then total cure will happen?
Ultimately, yes. The journey through it may not be smooth, but you have to be willing to take the journey to get to that place where everything works well. Right? So you may go through some emotional upheavals because you've got so much suppressed for so long. Uh, or it may come out in bits and pieces and you just deal with it as it comes out. I don't know what's going to happen when you start to allow yourself to feel. But I do know as long as you do not allow yourself to feel, you're creating illness in your body. That's how it's decided to come out, because it's going to come out one way or another. If
Mm-hmm.
you are content to say, you know what, I don't have to ever have my emotions, but I'm just going to have arthritis and it's going to get worse for the rest of my life, then that's a choice on your part. But if you say, I don't want to have this arthritis, I want to have a life of ease, and it may mean letting go of these emotions and going through these emotions, then you can create that for yourself as well.
But do you believe in like miraculous healing? Like even if the body lost cartilage, or I'm going back to the rational
So
stuff. Like,
there's a lot of people listening to you that are laughing right now because you don't know my story.
ah,
I got rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 22.
oh,
I suffered with it for almost 2 decades before I met someone who started this whole journey for me on shifting beliefs. And after working with him for 2 weeks, he said, so here's what's going on, Shiraz. You believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. And I said, no, I don't. He goes, I know you don't believe it consciously, but unconsciously, you believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. And the more people show up in your life, the more responsibility you have. And I said, okay, I know I'm a responsible person, but I don't believe I'm responsible for everyone. But even so, what's that got to do with arthritis?
right.
And he said, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. I said, obviously. He said, so if you're lying in bed in pain, you have the perfect excuse not to be responsible for anyone.
Wow.
Solution to a problem you don't even know you have. So I
Wow.
suffered for almost 20 years like that. And then I said, well, listen, if that's the problem, then all I have to do is say, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me, and I shouldn't have arthritis. He goes, yeah, if you say it and you mean it, then you shouldn't have arthritis. So I said, fine, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. I woke up the next morning, no pain, no inflammation, more mobility. The arthritis had left my body. Now I still had the damage done, but I was happy not to have any pain issues or inflammation issues. And since then, I've learned that this works for illness, this works for money, this works for relationships, and it's all about the beliefs. You are creating your arthritis based on your beliefs. And a lot of that belief comes from fear, and there's anger in there too. I can feel that. When you're willing to let that go, when you're willing to be sad, when you're willing to let go of the fear and everything else, it's going to start coming out. Now, I don't know what's going to happen for you when that all starts to come out. It may be a rough ride, but once it's out, everything's going to change for you. You have to be willing to let it come out. And when you're willing, it tends to come out in the best ways. If you're resisting, it tends to come out in the worst ways. So yeah, I know how bad arthritis impacts you physically and emotionally. I've been through it. But I also know it's coming from your beliefs. And when you're willing to shift them, the arthritis will go.
It's like you have to surrender.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for illuminating this.
You're welcome. How are you feeling?
A little bit more hope.
Okay. So as much as that sounds good, I want you to get out of hope and get into knowing that you're going to change, that you're going to get out of this, right? The one drawback with hope is that hope is like, well, something may come along and change and save me. And whereas knowing, it's like, no, I'm going to change it. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to get happier. There's no doubt. It's just going to happen.
And do you believe that the straight route is through this sphere and not through the material stuff? As I said, supplements and
Oh, well, here's the thing. When you get to that place of, I know I'm going to change, your body may just shift and the change will occur that naturally or magically, depending on how you look at it, or the proper method for you will show up. So you'll suddenly find a supplement and you're like, that works for my arthritis. And it's because now you've come into alignment with getting out of the arthritis. So it may not just be this instantaneous physical change. It's like, oh, I found this supplement, or I found this doctor, or this new thing works. This exercise helps me out. Those things all just show up so that you get out of the arthritis into a better space. You don't know how, you don't know the how, you just know it's going to happen.
That's very right. I have lots of synchronicities, and even this webinar is a good synchronicity that happened. I've never heard of you before, and yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. How you doing?
It's like the responsibility to heal myself, as you said, not to look outside and do.
Yeah.
It's a little bit frightening. How shall I do it?
Yeah. So again, just set the intention you're going to do it. The how will show up.
To set an intention that I'm going that I'm changing, that I intend to change myself, my personality, my patterns. That's what you mean?
Yes, exactly. Or even just simply, I'm going to find the best way to get rid of my arthritis.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to show up, but I'm going to do it.
And what shall I do when I start to panic? When you wake up with the stiffness and the inflammation, and you the first moment you open your eyes, you're panicking. What can be a good self-talk, an effective self-talk to?
For me, it's just, I'm going through this in this moment and it's going to pass. It's part of the process and I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I am getting better. I'm on the path. And so this is nothing to panic about. This is just part of the process.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Shiraz, and if you made it this far, please click like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. And if you would like shifts like the person in the video, subscribe to our monthly magic program. The link is in the description. You will get monthly coaching as well as emails going out to help boost your vibration, your wealth, your success, and as well as a lot of other perks. And remember, be well, be aware, and be magical. See you soon.